Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to create a contact form using React.js and Firebase. Now basically on YouTube a lot of videos might be popping out on your subscription feed based on React and Firebase, so it's kind of becoming famous. So it would be a great time to kind of learn, but besides that, this is a nice stack to be in. React and Firebase goes really well, and today we're going to be learning about how to create a contact form using React and Firebase. So we've got a pretty looking UI here. So this is a demo, so I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. So I'll put my name in the name field and then put my email and then put a test message. So I'll say this is a test message, and this is the database that we're dealing with, so stuff called collections and documents. So once I click on submit, it's gonna show me kind of a loading symbol here, which is kind of disabling the button, and as you guys can see, it's showing an alert. So it's saying that the message has been submitted. So if I click on OK, the loading symbol has gone. So as this is the first collection that we are creating, the Firestore, although it's a real-time database, the cloud Firestore, it does not automatically kind of real-time give it. So you want to refresh it as it's the first collection that we're giving it, because we're creating one. So as you guys can see, there's a collection called contacts, and that's the document which has an auto-generated ID with all the credentials that we passed in. So that's exactly what we're going to be creating, guys. Hope you guys are going to be enjoying. If you do enjoy, make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I will get back with you. So with that said, let's get started with the video. So I've got a normal React boilerplate code here, and then so we're going to be having a little bit of folders here. So first of all, if you're getting started, what you want to do is you want to open up your terminal in Visual Studio Code or any kind of code editor that you're using. You should type in npx create react app, and you want to name your app anything you want. You could just say Firebase contact form or anything, but I do have a boilerplate code together with me, and if you click on enter with that particular code, you would get all these boilerplate files and folders. Okay, so inside the source folder you want to delete everything except for app.js and index.js. So if I go to index.js, we would have only this. We don't need the service worker and all those kind of stuff. And we could go to app.js. Inside the app.js, we've got a div with a class of app saying hello from app. So let's npm start this. Let's start the server. So I'll say npm start to start the server, but basically there's another server going on here saying localhost 3000. So it will ask for saying, do you want to run your server on another domain or host, so on port 3001. So let's wait for a while and check if the server is going to be running. So exactly, so if I click enter, it's gonna give it yes, and then the server is loading up. So let's put this side by side and start working. I've got the code at the side so that I don't miss anything and you guys don't miss anything as well. And we could get started properly. Okay, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear some laptop noise, like my laptop kind of boils every time. So okay, so the first thing is in the app.js here, we wanna first of all, inside the source folder we want a component folder. Usually this is how the folder structure works. So inside the components we need a contact.js component. So this is going to be one component. Basically don't matter about this folder structure, this is just a way of kind of making everything look good and also be usable, reusable. So I'll type RAFCE. It's gonna give everything for me. So how did I get this? I'm using a live extension called ES7. ES7 React Redux GraphQL snippets. It's really popular. It's got around 1 million downloads, so that's pretty awesome. I don't want that. So right after that, what I want to do inside of the contact.js, I want to return a form instead of a div. I want to return a form, and inside of that form we need three main things. So let me give a class called form, and inside of this we need basically four things, which is the first one is going to be, we're going to be saying contact form, and I'll just put an emoji. You could put any emoji or anything. Well, let me put this. Okay, so I'll put that, and right after that I need a label and an input. So those are the two things that we need. So first we want to get the name and then the input. So for the input I'll give a placeholder saying name, and we will be dealing with the state, but in the a little bit afterwards. Let me just build the UI first, and we're going to be replicating the same thing. So name, email, and email again, and here we need a message, and instead message instead of an input we need a text area. So we want the user to kind of input a lot of words, just like this. This is not an input, this is text area. As you guys can see, we could expand it. We've got a minimum height and a minimum width so that you can't actually go beyond the limit. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with that as well. So I will just put text area, and inside of the text area here we want to be having a placeholder as well, as we can see, saying message. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much it for the UI. Let me just check how it's going. So we have to render it in the app.js. So let's go to app.js, and I'll import this component from the component folder itself. So import it from ./component/contact, and instead of rendering this hello from app, I will render this component just like that. And as you guys can see, it's got all of the functionality, just the UI bit. Okay, so right after that we want to create an app.css inside of the source folder. So let's say app.css, and sorry guys, so basically I don't want to focus that much on the app.css. As I said, if I didn't, I'm sorry guys, this GitHub repository will be linked in the description. So if you want to clone it or kind of fork or commit or anything, you could use this GitHub repository. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. It's got all the functionalities I'm going to be adding as well, together with the Firebase. So I'll copy the CSS. Let me know guys, because I'm not sure if we should kind of go with like copying and pasting the CSS, or just to hard code the CSS or something. So if you want me to kind of code the CSS next time, let me know in the comments down below. So inside of the contact.js we want to import the app.css. So /app.css, because we're going out of the components inside of the source folder. So okay, so there's a problem here. Let me check. Okay, so also for the app.js we want to import the app.css, because we have a style for the app.css as well, app.css. So if we save it, import app.css / let's change that. Let me refresh. Okay, so one thing I missed out was a button. Obviously, to submit the form, we don't need a button. I don't know why this went down. We need a button, and that button is going to be a type of submit, and we are also going to be dealing with the loading kind of field to it. And let's just say submit. if I save it, it's going to be right there, and all the effects are going to be already applied because we had the app.css. Let me add another emoji for yeah, that maybe that will add some color to it. Yes. So now we are almost we are done with the UI. Now we can work on the Firebase part of it. So basically we want to use the console of Firebase. So you want to go to console.firebase.google.com, and sorry, you should go to console.firebase.google.com. Inside of that, what you want to do, first of all, if you don't have any projects, you should click on add new project, because you're going to create a new project to store all of your information. So if you're not sure with what Firebase is, it's basically a real-time database which you could use to store all of your data. So you don't need to have kind of knowledge on Node.js or stuff. But if you do have the like drive for learning all Node.js and stuff, it's definitely worth studying Node.js. But if you want to get some applications up and running really quick, Firebase is going to help you with that. So I'll just name it React contact form. So you want to click continue, you want to uncheck Google Analytics, and you want to click on create project, and that's going to take you to what's called the console, the Firebase console. So you will be greeted with just this, and you want to go to database, and you want to create the cloud Firestore. You want to just check everything that they give you. So you want to check everything that they give you, and then you will be greeted with all the database and all those kind of stuff. No, let me do it. Add a project. I'll say React contact form. I don't need Google Analytics, but you have to pay for it though. So click on create project. So this is the loading symbol that I didn't want to get to. That's exactly, I didn't create the project, but it's totally fine. I could work on it. Okay, so we have to wait for that. So until that, let's create firebase.js, which is going to hold all of our component level applications, and also let's npm install Firebase, because we are dealing with the Firebase, and then we have to import it as a module in order to use it. So we'll use say npm install Firebase, and that's installing. So our project is ready. Let's click on continue, and as I said, this is going to be the website place that we will be redirected with. So you want to click on cloud Firestore, because that's what we are using. There's also a real-time database which you could use if you want to. So click on create database. We'll start in test mode. Production mode, we do not need it for now. So let's just use test mode. Next and next. We want to wait for that a little bit as well. I would recommend you guys also do this project together with the tutorial, because it's definitely going to be helping you learn every single bit of what we're going to be doing, because kind of this is the Firebase and also back end. It is not as simple as it might be on the front end. So it's pretty much done. Right now you want to go to the settings icon. You want to click on project settings. You want to get all the credentials to work with it. So we are making an application for the web, so click on the web, and I'm gonna name it React contact form. We don't need Firebase hosting until now. Maybe another video would be great for that. And now they will give you all the credentials that you need, and we'll copy the whole thing that's inside of this script, because that's what we need. This if you're only using JavaScript for it, you could use the CDN, but we're using React of library actually. So click on continue to console, which is going to be taking me to this page again. Want to click on database again, and let's shrink that navigation, and we copied it. And as we install Firebase, we could import Firebase from Firebase, and we could paste it and have 14 lines of code. That's fine, but there's another way you could do. You could say Firebase app equals firebase dot initialize app. So we are already initializing it without actually initializing it here, so we are minusing on 2 lines of code. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not a problem. If you want to do the way they give you, it's totally fine. So after that, we want to create a variable called db, which is going to be the database that we are using. Currently we are using the cloud Firestore, but you could also use a real-time database, but I would recommend you use your cloud Firestore. So we'll say firebase app dot Firestore. So we are initializing our app here. So this is the way React actually knows that these are our credentials and to store the data right here. And right after that, we want to be able to use this throughout the website, throughout the code. So we'll export the db variable. Right here, I'll import the db variable which we exported from dot slash firebase, and here we're going to be having all the code that we do need. So if we go to contact.js, first of all we need a lot of state. Basically you could type in it now, but you want to make sure that the values that we are typing is stored in one particular place. So for that, I'm gonna create 3 different pieces of state. Const name and set name will be equals to use state, and right there you want to import use state as well. And I want to do the same thing for email and message. So email and message, let's say set message, no, set email, and then set message. It's gonna hold the same piece of state everywhere. So for the input, we want to give the value to be name, and as the user changes it, we want to run an arrow function that makes the value that is inside the input to the value that the user is typing in. So you want to get e, which is going to be the event, and set the name to e.target.value. So basically we are making the value of it the state, which is nothing, and as the user changes it, we are making it available, so that as the user changes it, we are setting the variable to the kind of the text the user is typing in. So if you did not understand that, I would highly recommend you guys to check the React documentation or watch some videos. So the value is email for the email section, and set email for the email input, and we're going to do that the same thing for the text area as well. Message and set message to the e.target.value. So as the user submits the form, we want to run a function called handle submit, which we haven't created it yet, but we will create it. So let's say handle submit, and let's get the event so we can prevent the default. e.prevent default. Every time there's a form, you better do this, because it's going to refresh it if you don't, and all the data that you stored is going to be kind of gone, I would guess, and that's not what you do want. So dealing with the Firebase database, it's really easy. What you do is db.collection, which is the collection that is inside of the database. So each collection is known as each kind of page, you would say, is known as collection, and we're going to name it saying contacts. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to add, we are not going to set. If we set the value, there's 2 different ways to add or set the data in Firebase. You could add or set. If you set, it's going to override the kind of data that is already in there, so you don't want that. If you want unique values, such as user signing up, you want to get all the information, it should be unique for every user, you want to use add, not set. But if you want to override something such as user profile information, you could use set. So it's kind of going to update the name and username or user profile picture of each and every user. So that's a lot of I don't know, so explanation. So let's add, and inside that you want to put object sign and put name will be equals to the state name that we have right here, and we'll say email equals email, and message will be equals to message. So just like that, we're almost done. But we also want to do something right after the user has submitted the form and Firebase has stored it. We want to make sure that the user knows that it's done. So let's alert saying message has been submitted, message has been submitted, and let's put an emoji saying thumbs up. Okay, so we also want to do the loading symbol right after this. So let's catch an error if there is any error in the process of adding it to the database. Let's alert error.message. So Firebase is going to do all the error stuff for us. We don't need to do anything. So the Firebase is going to be working. So if I do, let me check a little bit if it's going to work. Okay, one thing, after we do type in all the values and after we click on submit, the values are just going to stay the same inside of the input. So we want to set the name to nothing, and also set email to nothing, and also set the message, which is in the text area, to nothing as well. So if I do take a look now, if I put my name and just put test@gmail.com, and if I say this is a test email, if I click on submit, I should get an error saying the message has been submitted. If I click on OK and go to the contact form, so as this is the first collection, as I said, we have to refresh for it to kind of add the collection to the database. And as we go on, if you need more information, so as you guys can see, the collection has been added saying contacts, and it's loading the specific document, and as you guys can see, all the data is stored. But we want the loading kind of thing to happen because we want the user to know that what he came for is actually going on. So let's just say style will be equals to, we are putting some inline styling, and before that we want to use a state. We want to do something with the state that is going to check if the user is submitting and the process is going on with the database adding the data. Okay, so let's create a state called loader and set loader. Initially we want it to be loading, obviously. Yeah, we want it to be loading. No, we want it to be not loading because obviously the button should be filled with a color at the start. So as the user submits, once the user submits, we want to make sure that the loader is working. So let's set the loader to be true. So that then is a promise. So after the promise has been made, let's say set loader to be false, because we want the loader to be false after it has completed it's whatever it's supposed to do, adding the data. And also if there's any error, let's set the loader to false because we want the loading to stop as well. So inside the style we want to do some optional we want to do some JavaScript here. So style should be, the background should be, if the background, okay, the background should be, so let's just check if the loader is true. If the loader is true, if it's actually loading, we want to set it to CCC. So we don't need that. We want to set it to CCC, which is going to be gray, kind of a disabled feel or view to it, and or else we want to bring the same blue that we have in the CSS. So I'll say RGB and that button. So if we do take a look, and if I put all my credentials and all those stuff, I'll just say test and test message. If I click on submit, it's going to show the disabled, Once I click on OK, it's gonna go, and all the info forms are kind of set to the default value. And we've got the second one. So if you go to the second document, we could see test message and my name. So that's pretty much it, guys, and it's really simple. 25 minutes, and that's a lot, obviously, and this is really easy to do. So if you're kind of finding it difficult, obviously you shouldn't be finding it difficult, guys. Keep going and surely you will get it. If you're finding it difficult, obviously you could go to the React contact form and refer to it anytime you want. And that's about for the video, guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Leave a like if you love the video. Also share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel for more videos. Follow me on Twitter, obviously in the description down below. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.